Hello, everybody. In this screencast, we're going to go over the solution for assessment one. It should be very straightforward. This is only using activities. So the app is a calorie calculator application. And as the app starts, you get to see the calorie calculator. And then whenever you select one of these buttons, you click on any of these select buttons, it takes you to another screen. You enter, make a selection, and then that selection needs to go back. And basically there are no fragments, and basically we launch for result. That's the only interesting novelty in this whole assignment, is just launch for result. If we go to Canvas, you will see that launch for result. So here is the video for launch for result. And actually the video indicates that in the very early part of the video. So if you have watched it, and here it is, it shows you launching for result. And basically here is the launcher being declared at the top. And you can see how it's being created. So basically, that's very straightforward. That's mainly the only concept that's being repeated in this whole assignment. So anyway, I'll go over the implementation and see how we can provide you with a quick overview of how to solve this assignment. All right. So basically, when I'm building this, I just need to look at what I'm going to build. Right. So basically, it's a calorie calculator. The app tells you that, interestingly, that there is a calorie class that I have to create to hold the data for the user. So the gender, the weight, the height, age, and activity level. And basically, if I scroll down a little bit, the launch for result, we did discuss that. And I scroll down a little bit more. These are the different screens. And then there is a calculation that I have to make. So basically, if you scroll down a little bit, the calculation is based on what? For men is a calculation, for women it's a calculation. So I need to differentiate if it's gender, and the gender is already selected as one of the fields. You see here, gender is one of the fields that is being selected. And then it's 10 times the weight in pounds. So this is the weight in pounds. And then this is the height in feet times 12 plus inches. This means this is this component is the height in inches, right? And then times the age. So basically these fields I'm going to store, but I'm going to store them as doubles so that I could do this math. So that's basically straightforward. So that's something I would like to work on. Okay, good. So let's build these screens and see how we can make this happen. So I'll just move this a little bit here, open Android Studio. And I already have created a project, but I didn't create the layouts. So basically if I go back here, this is the manifest. Okay, good. Let's have a look at what Java is there. Let's have a look. Here's the main activity. Okay, good. Now I have a main activity, and that's possibly going to be the calorie activity. So basically that's the launcher one. So that's going to be the calorie calculator. Then I have select gender. So that's another one. So the select ones. So I'll go in and create new activity. And this is an empty views activity. And I'm going to call it select. Okay, so this is select gender activity. All right. And similarly, they have a select gender, select weight. All right. All right. New activity and empty views activity. And the same story. I'm going to go and say select gender. We already have gender, age. All right. So select gender, age, weight. So weight is the next one. All right. So, and height, new activity, empty views. So this is activity, empty views, activity. All right. So weight. So this is select weight, same story. So I have select weight, age, gender, what else? Height. All right. So there's height. Go back here. Right click new and activity, empty views activity, and here we go, and Control V, and here's the height one. So basically I have height, gender, and then there is activity level. Okay, so I'll say select level, new activity, and empty views activity. Similarly, select, I'll call it activity level. All right, there it is. So I have all of that. Now let me also enable, let me just make sure I have my emulator ready to go. There's that. Let's run the emulator just for the sake of making it run. running devices. While this is happening, I have to go and enable, I like to use binding. All right, so basically to use view binding, I go here and I'll say build features view binding equal to true. Okay, so sync now, go back here. I'll close all the screens, so close all the tabs. All right, so the app is running, good. So I have all the tabs. Now let me create the layouts. So basically in this assignment, we wanted you to go from one screen to the next and you get the first part of the rubric. So if you look at the rubric at the bottom, transition to all the select screens. All right, as indicated in part 1. All right, good. So I can transition to them with the start launcher, with the launcher. All right, we'll look at that in a little bit. Go back here, let's create some layouts. I'm gonna go and create all the layouts. These layouts can be created easily. So I'll go to the main, which is the first one. Okay, let's make this guy a little bit smaller, make this guy a little bit bigger, and maybe a little bit smaller, bigger. And we need the attributes. So okay, so we need to pick an attribute for it to appear. Okay, good. Here it is. Good. Delete that. All right, so now let's look. I need a title. I can do the title by having an action bar, but I'm not going to do that. There's a text view, and here we are. 1, 2, and 3, and give it a little bit of a padding, so I can do the padding at the top level. I'll do padding, let's say 10 dp. It will push everything inside. And then I can go back here to the text. Here it is, and the text view. Let's say we make it a little bit bigger. So here it is, make it bigger. Let's say we make it at 20. So that's the text. And then this one is the calorie calculator. Okay, good. So copy that from here. And here is the calorie calculator. And then basically there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another, and then 5 buttons. Okay, good. So let's get the buttons in. Okay, so let's go text view 1, text view 2, pasting them. Okay, and 4, there it is. And I'm going to set up the constraints in a little bit, but here is the first 4. I can copy them, Control C, and then Control V. And here's the other 4. Here it is. And then the buttons, I have these buttons. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So I have these 5 buttons here. Okay. I can set up the buttons to start with. So here is the first button connected here. Give it a little bit of a padding, and here we are. Similarly, this is this button, and it's connected to the bottom of this button. And maybe give it a little bit of a margin. Here it is. A lot of buttons. Okay. Here's that, and then there's another button. Okay, so now we just connect it here and connect it here. Also 8. Similarly, this button I'm going to connect here and then all the way down here, and another 8. And similarly, this button and another 8. Good. So I have the select buttons done. And then there is a submit, so I'm going to do that also. So I need another button for the submit, and I'm going to be good to go. So here's 1, 2, and then connect it here, get it maybe 16, and that becomes my submit button. 1, 2, and the text here, submit. All right, so that's the submit. And then this is going to be, I'm going to give them their IDs later on. I just need to know what they select. So this is the gender. All right, so here's this guy is going to be gender. Okay, and then after that it's weight in pounds. Okay, that weight in pounds, then height. Here's that. Okay, here we are. Enter. Here's the height, and then similarly this is the age. Okay, here it is. Here's the age. Enter, and then finally the activity level. Perfect. So I have the first screen semi done. And here we are, activity level, and I'm going to just anchor all of them to the side here. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5, and then the gender, I'm gonna take this one up here, and then the bottom of it is here to the bottom of this one. Similarly, this guy is top of the button, the bottom is to the bottom of the button. Similarly, the height is top of this button and bottom of the button. The age, same story, top here and bottom here. And similarly, the activity level 1 and 2. All right, so I have the activity level. Now these guys I can easily connect 1 and then 2, 3, and then maybe 4, margin 8, 1, 2, and I take the whole screen. Perfect. So here we are, 1, 2, 1, 2. Similarly, so I'm centering it to the left labels. Okay, so these are going to hold the values that the user picks. Here they are. Okay, so here is 1, 2. Similarly, here is 1, and then finally 2. Same story here. Here is 1 and 2, and then the same story here. Here is 1 and 2. Good. So we're done here. We give it 8 margins of 8, and then make sure that the width is 0 so that it occupies the whole screen. It is 8 and another 8, and then the width is 0. All right, same story here. We give it a margin 8, left and right are 8s, and here is 0. Same story here, margin 8, and then 1. Make sure that the width is 0. Good. So I have something happening here. Now this is going to be text view gender. All right. So here it is. I'm changing the ID here, and I'm just say n/a to indicate that it is not selected. So and similarly here, this text view is going to be weight. Okay, and it's NA also. Same one here is going to be height. Sorry. View height. Okay, and then similarly also this is NA. The age also is, we rename the text view NA. And similarly, I have here the level. I'll just call it level. And also NA. So I have my mostly done. Now this button is going to be select. Okay, and I am just going to copy the string from here, and then the names is going to be, this is going to be select gender, right? Similarly, this is going to be select weight. Okay, and then similarly this one is going to be select height. Yeah, I'm taking my time, but you'll see it's not taking that much time anyway. And then similarly button age, and here's select age. Okay, and then this is select activity. All right, and similarly select. So I have the screen. This screen is completely done, right? Somehow done, right? Now what I could do is, now let's go in. I'll copy the layout, Control A, Control C, and I can go to one of these selects. So let's say, for example, I'm going to build select gender. All right, so where is select gender? It's select gender. This is the layout. Now what I could do, Control V, and basically I can just make this guy here. So I just pasted the whole layout here. Now I don't need all these buttons, so I'm going to remove these buttons. Maybe I can remove them from the code much easier. I will just remove all these buttons, except the label at the top. I just need to keep the label at the top. So let's see. And let's see if I have the label at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, delete them. And then similarly, can I select them and delete them? Let's see. Oh yeah, I can. Perfect. So I did that so because I want to maintain the top view. So I copy that, paste it in. I pasted it in select gender. Let's say select age. Oh, I have something called height here. Oh, okay. We'll come back to it. All right. So I can right click here, rename, refractor rename, and I can call it select. This is the name of the activity. So select height. And similarly, I can rename it here, refractor rename, select height. Okay, good. So now I have them. These are the selects, activity level, and so on. So let's go and work on the age. So here is the age. Where's the layout that I just pasted? The gender. So here's the gender and the age. Here it is. Select age. This tools context is mainly for Android Studio to figure out what layout is assigned to which activity. Just for the tools, it's tools, right? So I did that for the age, gender are done. And then the height, same thing. Here's that. Copy this one, paste it here. And I'm done. Control A. Control S. This saved. Control C. I just copied that one also. Select level. Same story. Here is the level. Okay. Okay. So we go to the select level. Control C. The level is done. Weight. And here's the weight. Okay, good. So I have the weight also, and we are good to go. All right. So with them. Now let's look at the age. So now when I look at the age, the gender, we just pick male or female, and female is pre-selected. So excellent. So I can go in and do that. So that's the select gender. And here is the layout. So here I say select gender. Right, here it is. And then I need the text view for the label. Okay. And it's going to be gender. Right, here it is. And then basically 1, maybe here 2, give it maybe a 16. Okay. And then I have a radio group. Okay, so go here, radio group, here is that, and that radio group is aligned to the side here, and oops, sorry, is this side, I want it here, and then the top side is, let's say, to the top of this guy, and then maybe give it a little bit of a margin. Okay, cool. So here it is. And now if I look at the container tree, I need to add a radio button, radio button, right? So I take the radio button and I need to add it to that component in the tree. So I need to add it to that component in the tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add it, go to the tree, and then I can drag it under the radio. I can drag it inside the radio group. See here. And I go back. I need 2 of them. So here's one radio button. Okay, I have one radio button. I can copy that. There's another radio button. The first one is, let's say, which one is that? Female is the first one, and then male is the second one. Okay, good. So this is female. And the next one is going to be male. And then this one is pre-checked. So basically we go here. We do checked to true. Right, so this one is pre-checked. And basically we just type in female here and male here, and we're good to go with the gender situation here, right? So here it is. And then the button is just straightforward also. Here is a one button and another button, and they're both anchored here, and they're anchored to the bottom of the screen. Okay, and then basically I want it to be centered. So what I could do is I can add a space to the middle of the screen, something that doesn't show up, but it helped me to do stuff. So I'm going to do this, and then maybe to the center of the screen. So that's centered, and then this guy goes to the right side or the left side, and then this guy goes to the right side of the space. give it a little bit of a margin, and then we can make its size to 0, and we're good. I'll give it also a little bit of a margin. So I have both buttons. One of them is going to be, this is select, or what did they call it here? Submit and cancel. Okay, good. So this is submit, and this is cancel. And the buttons also will have cancel. And similarly, this one will have submit. All right. Okay, good. So we are done with this, done with the space. This space is also connected to the whole screen. So here we are. Now, what I can do is I can copy submit, and because you could see the submit and cancel are everywhere in the screen. The submit and cancel, I can add them. So I can go back to the layout here, and I have the space and the submit and cancel, copy them, and then I'm going to add them into the other ones, just because I know this is something that I will need. Here's one. We have the gender one already. We have the height. And then we have the level. And we have the weight. I can even change them here. So basically this is select weight. And this is select activity level. Select activity level. And this one is what? Select height. We already have the select gender done. And this is select age. So we'll do this to be select age. Select age. Good. So I have that stuff here happening. Now let's write the code. This is very straightforward. I have the layouts for at least the age. The age selector is there. Select. I have the selector for the gender. So we'll play that game and see. Okay. So now in the main activity, I have all these buttons, but I need to set up my binding. So basically it's called activity main binding. And here's the binding for it, right? And we set up the binding here. We say binding equal to activity get inflator, and then set content view to binding.getRoot. So that becomes this. So we don't need all of that stuff here. Now r.id.main, I can change that to be binding.main. You see that? Because it's already there. So I have that stuff done, taken care of. Now I can do binding dot select what? I want to do select gender. Dot set onClick listener, new onClick list. So here is the listener for the gender. Now let's set up our launcher. So basically I'm going to set up a launcher for each one of them. Okay, so basically I'm going to follow the activity result launcher. Activity result launcher. And then basically this is going to take an intent. Okay. And for example, I'll call it, this is the select height, select what? Select gender. Select gender launcher equal to register. So it's trying to give me this stuff. I can do tab, but I will use the approach that I like to use is I like to enter the code. So here is a register activity for result. And I'm going to use the contracts method. So basically new activity contracts result. See that here? And then this is the here it is. And basically if we just hover over here, and we need to import the intent. So let's see if we remove this from here. I need to import the intent, import class the intent. Okay, now we'll do the same thing. Register activity for results. And then there are two parameters. One of them is contracts activity for results. So new activity contracts start activity for results, right? And then new activity for results, and so on. Okay, good. This is boilerplate code that I will use. So this is the result. Now I need to check to see if result get result code is okay. This means everything is fine. Then this means there is data, right? And then if it's not okay, so that's if it's okay, then else it's not okay, right? So that's, I could do something when it's not okay, right? Good. So basically here, the user goes and picks, let's say, a gender. So basically that's a string gender, mgender, and I'm going to say the gender equal to null. That means it's not selected, right? So they're going to select what? They're going to select a gender and age. So basically I need to create a class here that's going to hold a Java class. Call it, for example, this is the calorie. What did they ask us to call it? Calorie class. Okay, calorie class. Okay, new Java class. It's a class calorie. Okay, and basically it will have private. I'll call a string and this gender. That's the only string I'm going to use. And let's say private integer height. Height is an integer. Make it double. Maybe private double weight, private double also height, double age, and then maybe private activity level. So basically I need the string activity level, right? And then I have the calorie class, and I'm gonna generate a getter and setter for all of them, and maybe I can generate a constructor, an empty constructor first, and then maybe a constructor that has these parameters. Constructor with all of them. All right, good. So we have that in the calorie. So I have a calorie class, and basically when the user goes in and selects, I will just set up that gender. So basically the gender is going to be whatever the user picks. So the gender is a string, right? So let's see. Yes, gender is a string. Perfect. So basically I'm going to say here that mgender equal to data, which is the dot get extra, that get extras, and then possibly I'm gonna call it gender, right? So that's the gender value that the user picks, and then basically I can change it in the layout if I want to. So I could do here binding.textView gender.setText, you see here, to gender. So I can do something like that. Now what I can also do is, so now that sets the text in the layout. Now what I could do also, if things are not well, so I can do else. I could just say that I could set it up such that if the user doesn't pick anything, I would do nothing, or I could just set it to NA. So basically I can go here and basically I can do the gender equal to null, reset it to null, and otherwise and this is going to be n/a. I could do that, and also when the user clicks cancel, the result is not okay, and I could do something like that, depending on what you want to do, right? Now I want to launch. So basically here is the binding. So basically I have the launcher for the gender, and I'm just going to do the same. I'm going to do this here, bind launcher dot launch, and then new. Here is the intent, going to select gender activity. I'm going to send it anything, but this is how you launch. That's it. So now I need to repeat the same thing for each one of them, right? So basically it just asks me to go the right way. So basically I'm going to just copy this here, and I'm going to paste it. All right, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So one of them is going to be select gender. So the select gender is going to stay as is. Then this is going to be select age. All right, so this is select age, and basically I'm going to keep that for the time being, right? Select age, and then select height, and then similarly this is select weight, and then select level, activity level or level. All right, good. So here it is, and now I have these bindings for each one of the buttons. It's just a lot of repetition. I pasted them. I have these 4 select buttons. Here it is, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now here we'll do button select activity level. So basically instead of this one, I'll do select activity level. And this is select activity level. Right. You're gonna make a mistake, and you definitely. So this is select activity level, select activity level, select activity level, and so this is the activity. So we're done with the activity, done with the gender. Now let's say a button select height, and the same story here. Select height launcher, and similarly here select height. Okay, so we're done with the selecting height situation, and then similarly select what? Weight, I think. What's left? Select weight, and same story here, select weight launcher, and similarly here select weight activity. Okay, cool. So we're done with the button for gender, activity, height, weight. I think age is left. Okay, button age. It's called button age. Okay, good. It's not select age. I can change it in the main activity. So I'll go here, and where is the age one? Here it is. It's called button age. So I can change it here. Button. What did we call the other ones? Select. Okay, good. So we can, to be consistent. All right, select age. We're good here. Here, select age. Same story here. Select age launcher, and similarly here select age activity. So we're done with this. I can demo, get my points. You know, if everything is wired up correctly, I can get my points. So basically this, I'll run that. Oh, something seems to be repeated. That's why it's not happy. Good. So, okay, let's see. So we have select age, gender, height. Oops, sorry. Height, weight, and level. We don't need this one. All right, run again. All right, so we are running, and then this is the running app, and here it is. These tabbings, maybe we need to work on it, but for the time being, let's figure out what we're going to do here. So here it is. I click on the select button, takes me here. I can go back. I can select the other one, takes me here. I can go back. I go here, I can go back. I can click here, I can go back, and so on. So basically it seems that I am managing things correctly, right? And let's see if we change this from, let's say if we change it from padding to margin. What if we do 100 margin to, let's say 10 dp? What happens when we do that? I change it from padding to margin to push it up. Okay, good. It's not padding. I think it has to do with the layout. But anyway, let's not worry about this edge case here. I think it has to do with these. I think if I just remove it, it's going to work. Now it's going to work. Okay, here it is. And here it is. We have our tabbing, but the top needs a little bit more. But anyway, I think we're good. We are able to go. And now we just need to write the code to send the data back. Now, if you look at the launcher for the gender, right? So that launcher for the gender is very straightforward. It's expecting the data to be sitting in the gender, and it should be a string. All right. So what we're going to do is let's look at the gender. The layout looks like this. We already have the layout set up. We have to submit, cancel, and so on. We go to the select gender. All right. So that's the second part of the rubric. If you look here, select gender. All right, and sends data back to the calculate screen. Okay, good. So that's straightforward. We'll do that. So if you go back to select gender, this is what it looks like, and this is what it looks like here. I'm going to remove this. We don't need this. I'm going to set up my binding. So basically, it's called activity select binding, gender binding. It's activity select gender binding. It needs to import this binding, and here we do binding equals to that, and then instead of this we will do binding.getRoot. Okay, and we're good. Now we'll do binding.button cancel.set on click listener new, and this is finishes the activity, and the other one is binding.button submit .set on click listener new, and here we are. And basically here is the integer, which is the selected ID, which is binding.radio group. It's not, doesn't have an ID. So we go back to gender, make sure the radio group itself has if you look at the radio group itself, should have an ID. So radio. So it has an ID, so now I can get it. So here is radio group, get checked item, right? So basically I could check to see, let's say I have male or female, so basically gender string, okay. Gender equals to, let's say, female, okay, and then we check to see if selected ID equals to r.id.male, radio button male, then gender equals to male. Here there is an assumption that it's pre-checked. You see here it's pre-checked, that the female, one of them is pre-checked, so I can make sure that something is checked. I don't have to check to see if okay. If that's the case, then I create a new intent. Intent equal to new, oh, sorry, I don't want to go anywhere, so I create an empty intent. Intent equal intent, intent equal to new intent, just a new intent. And then intent dot put extra, and that's going to be gender. Okay, the name is gender, the value is gender. And then set result to okay, and then we finish. All right. So setting the result to okay is also in the video that describes that, but here it is. It's going to send it back to gender, and then when you look at the main activity, the gender launcher, it expects gender, right? And it receives the string extra, puts it here, and then displays it. All right. So we can run this and try. Here it is. You select the gender. Let's say we pick male or female, whatever, and you click submit. Female. Click select, click cancel. See, we are setting it to NA. That's what we decided to do, but we don't have to. You know, on cancel, we are not sending result okay. You see, on cancel, we're just finishing. We're not sending result okay. So when we come back here, it lands here again. It's not okay, and it sets it up to this. All right, so we are done with the gender. Here it is. We're able to select the gender. Cool. So we'll repeat the same exact thing for the other ones. Let's say the age. So there is the age. After that, the weight. Okay, the weight and the age are exactly the same. So if we go to, let's say, what does the rubric say? The rubric says you go back and do the weight. Okay, let's do the weight launcher. So the weight one, let's look at the layout. So here's the layout for the weight. And we need to add an edit text. So here's the palette, search, edit text with number, which is decimal. Okay, good. So here's a decimal number, and here it is. Here's that. Give it a little bit of a margin, and I'll give it a hint. Say enter weight. Okay, here it is, and I can go back to here on 1, 2. Here's enter weight. Give it a little bit of a margin, and we're good. So that's entering weight. So if we go back here, this is the weight. Good. So I have the weight here. Enter weight. I give it a name. Let's say, for example, number decimal weight. Done. All right. So I'm done with weight. I can copy that and also paste it in let's say, we'll come to it. So here is the weight one. Okay. Go back to the weight. So select weight. Here's that. I remove this. Set up my binding. So activity weight binding. Oops, what is that? Activity select weight binding. Here's that. Make sure to import it. Here's import the class. Okay. Why didn't it import it? So we just should do it like this. Okay, here's binding equal to, all right, and then set container view to the binding.root, and then from the binding I can learn something from. Okay, I can copy code from before, but binding dot button cancel dot set on click listener new, And then basically I'll just say finish here. We got here, and then similarly binding dot button submit dot set on click listener new, and here we are. And now here we need to get a try catch block. Try. I know I'm gonna change catch, and this is number format exception. Number format exception. I know that because this is something we did before. And I'm gonna do double wait. Okay, wait, and then it's binding edit text wait get text to string, and if everything is okay then we're good. Otherwise I can just say a toast. I could say, for example, enter valid wait. We're good here. So I have the wait, create an intent, and then we'll put the wait in the intent, set result okay, and then finish. All right, now we just need to import this, and we're good. And so on. So basically that's the submit button. We're done here. We got the wait and we send it back. Good. So now let's go to the main activity and work with the wait. Where is the wait launcher? Here it is. And we are going to expect a wait. So that's the name of the variable. So here is the wait, and let's create a variable, call it a double mwait activity level, and then age. Right, so basically here's the wait variable. So here is the wait variable, and say get double extra default value. We can have a default value to be, let's say, 0. Or maybe the default value is null and it doesn't like it. So what we're gonna do is, okay, 0.0. Okay, now binding text view wait, and we'll do string.value of wait. All right, so here it is. So basically we are we display what, pounds beside it. Okay, good. So we then add to it pounds. All right, so we have the wait stuff done. Otherwise we set it up to NA just for the sake of, and here's the wait stuff. Okay, so we have the wait set up. We can test it. All right, so we run this. Here's the wait. I click nothing, click cancel, goes back, select wait. Let's say I put 1, 2, 3, and click on submit. Shows you 1, 2, 3. Select here. Let's say I put I don't put anything. I click on submit. It says enter valid wait. I can type. It doesn't let me type because I picked double or decimal. Right. Let's say 200 pounds. Click submit, and we have the 200 pounds. Good. And I click the gender, female. Submit. It's female. All right, perfect. So we have the weight and gender. The height and age are exactly the same, or I think the age is the one that comes next. So we have the weight. We work on the height. Okay, good. So the height, a lot of people were confused because there are 2 parameters. All right, so I can do too many. There are so many options. Okay, so we let's go back to the height. Okay, so now we go to the height. Where is the height here? Here's the height. Here is the layout. Okay, here we are. Select height, and height in, there is a text view. There's 1, 2, 16, and this is gonna be, all right, so this is the height in inches. So basically the height, so we'll just say height. I'm gonna put the same thing. Here's the height, and then there are 2 edit texts. There's an edit text, and they will have numbers. So I'll have a number, not decimal, just a number. Here is 1. Then I'll copy it. So basically here it is, Control C, Control V. So I have 2 of them. One is here on top of this one. One is here, and then one is here. And basically they are occupying half of the screen. So I can use that space that I had. So I have one of them here, and the other one is here. And then I can make it size 0. See that? And give it a little bit of a margin to the side here. See? Same story here. And give it a little bit of a margin. So here it is. I have them. and give it this one a little bit of a margin, and I have the two weights, and then one of them enter in feet. So this is going to be feet and the other one is going to be inches. So hint, I'll say feet, or let's say E. This is the feet amount, and then this is the inches. Something like that, okay? To have this and this, and let's give them some IDs. So this is text view number, text feet, okay? And similarly, this one is inches, okay? All right, so we're good here. We have the edit text setup. We have these fields. Let's go to the height, okay? So we select height, remove this. We set up our binding. There's a lot of repetition. Activity, height, activity, select height binding, and binding. Did it import it? Yes, it did import it, so I don't need all this whole name. Okay. And then similarly here, we do binding equals to this, and then set content view to okay, good. And we don't need all of that stuff here. Now we have the binding dot set dot button cancel dot set on click listener new, and here it is, and then we finish here. Similarly, binding dot button submit dot set on click listener new, and here it is. And then now here we just need to do something. So basically we can do a try catch first of all on the getting the, so we can do a try and number format exception. I can do catch number format exception, right? So basically what I could do is I could just go here and do a toast. So basically I could go here, enter a valid feet, a valid feet number, right? So basically here I'm going to get the feet. So I'll say double feet parse, right? And then basically I can do another try catch to catch the inches. So basically inside it, I can do another try catch here to catch the inches. So basically here is inches, and that's edit text inches, right? And valid inches, right, number. So now I have the feet and the inches, right, for sure. So I have them. Now what I could do, I want to send them back. So there are a lot of ways of doing that. One option is to send them back as two numbers. So basically this means the calorie, I'm going to change the height to refract. Let's say I'm going to make it, I can do the math, or I can send these two. So I can send the total height in inches and in feet separately. I can do that and then do the math on the other side. What I'm going to do is just to make life easy, I'm going to store both of them. So basically I'm going to say, I'm changing it here because that's where things are going to happen. So let's forget about the calorie here, but I'm going to send both of them separately. So I just need to create an intent, new empty intent equal to new empty intent, new, to carry the data. I'll say intent height in feet, height in inches, and here is the intent, and finish, and we're good to go. That's what I could do. And then basically I can just receive them on the other side. It's straightforward, right? So there is a height in feet and height in inches that I'm going to receive, right? And I'm going to send them back. So where we have the main activity, we have the launcher for the height. Here it is. And this is the data that we are going to get. Here it is. See? And basically I can also have double height. So height feet, call it feet maybe. Feet. And similarly I could have double height inches. All right, cool. So I copy this because I'll need this, right? So I'll need m height feet equal to this, get double extra, and that becomes the feet. There's that, and it has a default value of 0.0. All right, so the same story I do for the inches. See that? for the feet for the inches. I copied this so that I can copy the same strings. All right, so we're good here. So we have the height. Now we just need to set up the text for it. So basically, how do we set it up? What does it show? Let's see. It's this feet inches. Okay, good. So we can do that. So it should look something like this. So basically, I'm gonna do binding dot set dot text view height dot set text something like that, and we're good to go. Yes, so we are here, and otherwise we'll do something like this. Okay, so now we're setting up the height, and notice the string dot value of feet space inches. You can run it and see. Okay, so we select height, we don't enter anything, we submit. It's not happy. Okay, so let's say we enter a valid feet, let's say here, and then click submit. It says enter a valid inches, so you need some number in the inches. Click submit, and it's being packaged and sent back. Of course, it doesn't look that good. Let's say 6'2", and you click submit. Click submit, and then you see 6'2". Yeah, looks good. We can clean it up, but we're fine. And I think we did the weight also. So here's the weight. Here it is. And we select the gender. That one also works. So we have these three done. Have a look back here. So I have the weight, gender, height, age. Easy. So the age is very easy. The age is just a number. When you look at it, the age is just, you enter a number, enter age. Okay, good. So we'll go back, do the age. Here it is. It's just an edit text. Here is an edit text, and then we'll just pick a number. Where's the number? Here. Here's the number. 1, 2, and basically here is 3, and let's make it 16. 1, 2, and we'll do a hint enter age. Hint. Here it is. Give it an ID, and the ID is here. Here's the age, and we're good. Go back here, and we go back to the activity age. Where's the select age? Remove this. So we'll do activity select age binding to binding. Okay, don't need all of this here. All right, we have that. We'll do the same thing. Binding dot set dot button cancel dot set on click listener new on click listener finish. Binding dot set dot button submit dot set on click listener new, and here we are. And then I'll do the same thing. Try catch block, and the same number format exception, and I need to do a toast. Okay, enter a valid age number. We just need to import this. Okay, we're good. And then we have here a double age. Here it is. New intent, put extra age, and finish. Good. So now we just need to import the class, and we're good. So we have the information related to sending the age back, and we're good. So basically that's the age. We need the main activity and the age launcher here. I'm gonna receive an age value, and we have the age as a double. Here's the age value, get double extra. Okay, and then text view age to string dot value of age. So I don't know if we put years or no, but here it is. This is the age, and similarly the other ones, the age and the age. So we go and check. I just want to check also what did I do to the heights. The heights, yes. We need this one to be null. This one to be null. So that's with the height. So the gender, we are setting up the genders, and then we're changing the gender to null if that's the case. The activity age, we're doing the same thing, age. And here it is. And then the height, we are doing the same thing here, nulls. And what about the weight? Did we change it for the weight? Yes, we did change it for the weight. Good. And then the level, we didn't come to this yet. So anyway, we have the age done. We test it. Okay, here's the age. Let's say we don't enter something, we click submit, then cancel. Enter age. Let's say we enter an age 33, submit, we see 33 on the other side. Okay, good. So basically we are done with the age. Activity level. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So these are the activity levels. I can copy them from here. Copy them. These are the activity levels. All right. And we'll come back to these activity levels, but let's see. So the activity levels is easy. So what I can do is we go to the last one is cancel, right? Okay, good. So basically, where is the activity level? Select level, and let's have a look at what it looks like. Okay, so it looks something like this. So the cancel is the only one we need. Don't need the submit. So I'm gonna just delete the submit. Also delete the space. I don't need it. So where's the 3? Okay, so here's the cancel. Remove the anchor to the bottom, and here's my cancel. All right, so I need some other buttons. So let's add some other buttons. So we go back here. Common is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we have 5. Okay. 2. Of course, we used buttons here because you didn't do the list view stuff yet. So that's why we are doing buttons. Straightforward. Okay. 4 and 5. Here we are. We'll clean up things in a little bit, but here we are. This our cancel button also goes here. Let's give it a little bit of a margin, right? And here we are. Similarly, let's give this guy a margin, and another margin. Then 1, 2. Okay, perfect. So this is SED. Okay, so these buttons, I'm gonna call them, it's too long. So what I'm going to do, maybe I give it the same name. Let's see if it's gonna let me do that. Okay, yes, I'll give it the same name. Lightly, so that's lightly active. So that's this one. Moderately active. Okay. Okay, very active. Yeah, it takes time, but if you plan on making your life easier later on, you just have to spend a little bit of time in organizing what you're doing, right? So basically, that's what I'm doing here. The IDs have some very well-defined names, right? So okay, here it is, and I have all of them set up, sedentary, and so on, right? Okay, so I have the names and stuff like that. Now, what I will do is I'll go back to the select activity level, right? There it is. Remove this, set up my binding, activity select level binding to binding. There it is that. Okay, and then I can do binding equal to this, set content view, and binding dot button cancel dot set on click listener new, and here we are. Now it doesn't see the other ones, it seems, but anyway, finish. Binding dot button. Oh, Why is that the case? Evaluation 1, data binding, select level binding. So where is this? I changed the wrong one. Let's see. All right, so there is button sedentary or whatever. Select binding. I could do build clean, and then I click on the build again, this build. Oh, I should see it. Yeah, it's not compiling. So if it compiled, it will give me that data. So let's say tools, build. Let me check something here. Build clean. What is clean here? Clean project. And then let's say we build the project again. Okay, running the Gradle. Yeah, it needs to give me this data. Am I selecting the right binding? So here's the binding, is select activity binding. Okay. All of this. Yeah, here it is. Button, you see that? Cancel lightly on active. Let's say we do this one. Set on click listener. Now I want these IDs so that I can use them. Here are my IDs. Okay, button dot set on click listener new. Here it is. That's the sedentary. There it is. And then I got this from here. Create an intent. Okay, and I put it as sedentary and we're good, right? So that's this one. Copy that. I can, this is the quickest and easiest way to do this. So I'm gonna copy this from here. And this is button lightly active. So I'm done with lightly active. And I'll do the remaining ones. So then moderately active. I can try to do something that's more smart, like maybe have an array of these names and create this and so on. I can, but I don't need to. You know, I don't have that much time in that project to work on this, right? So moderately and then very active. It is very active. And then super active is the last one. So I'll just do super active is the last one. And Control C. And here is this super active, and we're good. So that's these. Okay, and then basically what I can do, or even I can have a method that I pass it data and so on, but it's too much work that I really don't have time for in that evaluation. So basically this moderately, this is going to be very active. And then similarly, this one is super active. Okay, cool. So then it's going to come here. So then I go back to the main activity, and here is the launcher here. It's going to come in here, and this is going to be M activity level. So that's going to be my activity level. And then text view, we called it level. And it's going to hold this value. All right, so we run this. And this is the activity level, takes me here. I can fix that now, I'll fix it. But you see the sedentary shows that, and then similarly super active, middle, and then when you click on cancel, we clear it. All right, so we can fix the margin. I think it's something related to the layout. Where is the activity thing? Oh, this guy doesn't have a constraint, that's why, and give it, let's say, a 16. Run it again. So we're done with all of these. We're done with this. We're displaying all of them. And now we want to package and send data. Okay. So now it's straightforward. So basically, you see I have all of them done. All right, so this is the weight, let's say 200 pounds, 200, and I click on submit. And similarly, the height, let's say 5'11", submit. And then the age, let's say 23, submit. And then the activity level, lightly active. I have them all done. All right, so doing the validation is the next step. I think the next step is after the age and activity level, input validation, transition to the next screen. Easy. So the input validation I can easily do by checking to see if they are set or no. I have them all as nulls, and they are set to nulls to start with, initialized to nulls to start with, right? So basically, it's just in the submit button. So at the bottom of the screen, there is a submit, right? So basically, if we look at the layout for the main activity, we have this guy. It's called what? Button 6. We call it submit. Okay, so here's submit. We go at the bottom, we do okay, good. So now I need to pass if you see here, I need to pass the height in a very specific way. So I'm going to change the calorie to have I'll remove this guy from here. I'll remove also the height from here, and maybe we'll do double height feet, and then height in inches, and then we can do a constructor that has all of them. Okay, that's my constructor. It's not happy. Let's get it getters and setters. Getters and setters for the heights, and we're good. Okay, good. All right, so here this is going to be my constructor that I'm going to pick. So I could check to see if I can go and do each one of them, something like that, and do something like this. And I want to go to where? I want to go to the details screen. So basically, I need to create the details. All right, so why are we here? So we need to create the details screen. So let's create the details screen. New activity, empty views activity. And this is the details activity. All right, that's where we're going to send the data. Okay. So basically, we're going to the details activity, and in that intent, we can send the calorie, put extra, and it's called calorie. And we create a new calorie that we need to pass the data in. So I need to create that new calorie first. Let's create that new calorie. Amazing. So it's the gender, the feet height, inches, weight, age, activity level. Perfect. So basically that's this, and then we just put that calorie variable here. Okay, it's not happy now because why? This needs to implement serializable, because now when you do this, you put extra, it tries to figure out what type it is and so on, and that's it basically. And then we start activity with that intent that we're not going there for result. And we're good. So basically that's what we're going to do. And then else we can just say, show a toast, or we can do please provide all the fields before submitting, and we're good to go. Okay, so let's try. So it will go, that's fine, we know that it's going to go. All right, so click submit, says enter all the fields. Now let's pick them. Let's enter some data here, and then we enter some data here. Submit. We can do some checks also on the number of inches and so on. We can do that it's not asked from us here, but anyway, when you click submit, it goes. Perfect. So it seems that it's working, right? Now the details, let's go select age. I'm gonna copy Control A, Control C, and then the details. Let's put the details one here. I just copied the age activity because it's the smallest one. All right. Okay, here it is. And then this is the, what did they call it? Your calories, your calories details. Okay, good. Does it have any buttons? It has a back button, which is going to be this one. So I'm gonna do, we don't need the center one, so I don't need that space. Okay, and then this is back, so this is gonna be the back button. Okay, and this is gonna be the button back. All right, cool. So here it is, back. We don't need this. And then we're going to display these, gender, I can copy this from the main. I think the main has this stuff. I can have it. So if we go back to the main, I can copy, Control C. Okay, let's see if this is gonna work. Control V. Oh, that's too bad. Too much. Maybe I can copy them one by one and put them inside here. Let's see. Yeah, I'll copy them one by one to make life easier for myself. Okay, 8. So here they are. So basically gender, weight. So basically we are here, weight, height, age, and activity. I can copy it from the previous screen. The only difference is that it's they are tied to the buttons. That's why it's not happy, But anyway, we get the weight. Okay. Here is the weight. Move this one. 8. And then we put this one here, and then this is aligned here and here, and give it a little bit of a margin, and here we are. We have the weight. Here's the height. And let's remove this. This one goes here. 8, remove bottom. Constraint, and then this guy is here, 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 and give it a little bit of a margin. I don't need these constraints. Okay, good. We don't need this one also. We have this. We have the height. And then I'm just copying it from the previous screen. It's easier. I have it. And it will come with the same IDs and all that stuff, which is a good option to have. Okay, so this guy is under here. Node bottom. Okay, and similarly, this one goes here. The top of it goes here. And this one goes here, right? Give it a little bit of a margin. Now we're good. So we have the age, and then the last one is the activity level. All right, good. Activity level. Okay, and this one is here. Here, and you have an 8. Nothing here. and nothing here. Okay, good. So you have the activity level. Then you have your daily exposure. Okay, so that's another text field. So we go back to the palette. We take this guy here and another 8. And here's the text. You want it to be bold. Here is bold. Okay. And then we go back to this is at rest. Okay, so we 2 text fields. Another one here, 1 and 2. And here we go. And here we go. And we give it a little bit of a margin. This is the first one. PMR, and the other one is TDEE. Okay. Okay, cool. So then they have text fields that appear in front of them. So here are the 2 text fields. And here we are. Okay, and similarly here, PMR. And this one is going to be the TDEE. Okay, cool. So I have the TDEE and the PMR already set up, just for the sake of consistency here. So I have them set up. Now what I want to do is basically just calculate them. So basically what I'm going to do in the calorie, I'm going to have 2 methods, one to calculate each. So basically I can go here, I could say public calculate BMR. And it's going to return a double. Let me have a look at the code here. So they have these values, right? So the BMR for men or women basically is just a calculation, and there is a factor for men and factor for women. So these look exactly the same, but the last thing is just the digit of how much you subtract. Okay, so basically it's 10 times the pounds. Okay, so 10 times the pounds. So there is a number that we're going to be calculating. So 10 times the pounds divided by 2.200. So basically I could do so that's this. Divided by that number that I'm gonna get. What was the number? So that's 10. So 10 times the pounds times 2.00, 2.05 divided by 2.205. Right, so that's the number. So we calculated this part, 2.205, yes, plus. Okay, good. So this thing plus. Okay, so that's this plus this gamber time plus here it is 12 times the feet. Okay, so 12 times the feet, it's 5. Where is this 5 coming from? There is this and this, so this is this. There's no 5, so basically there is no 5. So okay, so this closes this bracket, so it's 5 15 point times the whole length. Okay, good. So this is times this one times, yes, we're good here, times the length minus 5 times the age. 5 times the age. So that's the BMR. return BMR. And basically we're going to do that if now we do an if gender equals male, else if else it's either this or this, and then now the thing is it's going to be minus +5 if it's male, right? So basically it's equal to BMR +5, right? Now BMR minus 161, which is the number that is here. Right, so it's 5 times the age. Yeah, so basically we are doing that here, right? So that's the BMR. Okay. And then this next one is based on a factor multiplied by the BMR, right? So it's just a factor multiplied by the BMR. So what I could do is calculate BMR, and what if I want to return two values? So I can create a, yeah, I can be a little bit more sophisticated. I can create a class. I'll call it, for example, activity dbt activity level, a class called activity level, right? And basically class. So I have that class, and then basically it has two doubles, right? So basically and then the other one is what? TDEE. And this value is just calculated. So basically I could do something like this, or we can do a constructor that is empty. Okay, and then maybe we can do a getter and setter for both, and it can do the calculation, you know. So basically it can do the calculation by passing it the BMR. It can give you the TDE, you know. So basically these are the TDEs that we copied. So basically we could do and this one also we can make it implement serializable also, right? And then basically here we can pass it the BMR and calculate the TDE. So basically I could do public void calculate TDE. These are the strings, so the activity level is not, they're lowercase, by the way. Super extra, so this is super active. Okay, TDE equal to BMR times, and then this is the schedule that we have: 1.2, 1.375, 1.55. I don't like to use case, but anyway, it's case, right? So here is the case, 1.9. So this is it. So you have the TDE, right? It's just based on the activity level, and you can pass it also to BMR. So basically, we can have a BMR also, and we can do that, or yeah, it can set the BMR, and then also you can pass it the BMR. So you can say double BMR equal to this, and you set it up, and calculate TDE sets it up for us, right? And that's what we could return when the user has the calorie, right? We can just say we calculate the BMR and we return back a activity value, you know, this activity level value. So basically we can return back an activity level value. So basically what we could do is we could do activity level equal to this, and then we can do this, and we can return it. And that gives us the two values that we need. Yeah, we can do something like that. We just call calculate BMR and get the activity level. So we, in the, what do you call it, in this, what where is it? Details activity. Let's set up our binding first. Activity details binding. Import it. Okay, here we are. And we can do binding equals activity this, set content view, binding dot button. Oh, I don't see button back. It didn't compile, so we need to make sure it does. Build again, I'll clean and build, assemble, build, compile all sources. I'm just gonna do that. Now we go back here. Yeah, it needs to build, clean, and do it again. Oh yeah, let's get the value. So basically we'll do intent we send it as calorie. What did we send it as? Calorie. Perfect. So we can get it as calorie. We have the calorie, then we can do activity level. Okay, activity level equal to calorie, calculate BMR, and then we can do something like this and like this. Now these text views are what? Why is it not seeing them? Details binding, and the details binding. Okay, let's see what's going on here. It's not happy for some reason. We can remove these. These are constraints from the previous situation. And that's why it's not, if it doesn't compile, it's not going to see them, right? So text, now will it see them? Let's build again. It's not going to be happy. Build again. Yeah, I'm not getting it. It's weird. So let's see again. Activity details binding. Activity details binding. Again, build clean. And then I will build again. Test binding dot text. Yeah, it's not happy for some reason. Sometimes you just have to close it and open it again. It's not behaving again. So let's see. Yes, here we are. BMR, let's set text. Right, same thing here. Get TE, and so I have them, right? So we have these, and also we can we have the BMRs shown. We can also show the age and all that stuff, very similar to what we did in the main activity. So for example, gender, we can do that same thing here. So basically we already have the code for this here. That's gender. So basically I can do something like this. So this binding has the same, I am using the same text view gender. I don't know why it says gender 3, maybe when I paste it. So binding, sorry, this is calorie dot string dot dot get gender. And here we are. And then there's text view. And get activity level. Yeah, so I think I have all of it. somehow done. Let's see. So we can try this example. See here, we can try the example for lightly active female. So basically, let's pick a female, and then the weight is what? The weight is 150. Submit, and then the height is 5'6". Okay, and then the age is 35. Age is 35. Submit, and then the activity level is lightly active. Okay, so activity level is lightly active, and we click submit, and this is what it shows, which are the same numbers that are listed here. Okay, so 1392, 1914, and we have the same numbers. So basically, we are able to demonstrate that we are able to pass data forward, pass data backwards, and this is technically a sketch of the solution, but that would get me across the bridge. All right, so please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much.